Park, a new beginning, let's go. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Baby said she wanna go to the game. Taught her how to say Padre gang. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Mitchell and Ness with the old school name. All of the homies holler Padre gang. Yeah, that.
And good day, everybody. Welcome on in. This is the Talking Friars pregame show for May 5th, 2022. I am your host, Ben Fadden. Padres kick off a 7-game homestand tonight against the Miami Marlins. After going 6-2 on the road trip, they probably should have won 8-0. I discussed that on episode 157 last night. You can listen to that on any podcast platform, or you can watch that on replay on YouTube, on this very YouTube channel. But 6-2 on the road trip, I'll take it. That's what I said I would be okay with, going into the road trip. Now you come back home for 7 games, and I'm hoping they can go 5-2. You're facing, 4-3, a winning homestand, you'll still take it. But when you lose 2 games that you should have won, you want to come back that next homestand, right, and win those games. Win, not just go a game above 500, but go 5-2. Really win that homestand, like dominate. 6-1 even. But 5-2, I'd be good with for this homestand. It's 4 against the Marlins today, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then it's 3 against the Cubs before an off day before they head to, I think, Atlanta, where they start a huge 15-game stretch against Atlanta, Philadelphia, Milwaukee. I think San Francisco's in there. Good teams. So these 7 games are crucial for the Padres. They went 6-2 on that easy road trip right after the Dodger series. So that's a combined 13 games now where it's opponents you should win every series against. So we'll definitely see if they'll be able to do that tonight, or this homestand starting tonight, with Nick Martinez on the mound for the Padres and Jesus Luzardo on the mound for the Miami Marlins. First pitch is at 6:40 p.m. Pacific time, Bally Sports San Diego, 97.3 The Fan. Padres are in second place in the National League West, a game back. Entering tonight, the Marlins are in second place in the National League East, but there's a bigger gap because the Mets are on fire right now. The Marlins are 4.5 games back in the National League East of those New York Mets, the Buck Showalter-led Mets. Padres at 16-9, they like where they are. Jesus Luzardo, we could talk a little bit about the pitching matchup right now. Jesus Luzardo got traded to Miami last year during the Starling Marte deal. He has a 3.10 ERA. He's allowed 1 run in 3 of his 4 starts. He's walked more than 2 batters in 1 of his 4 starts. So he doesn't walk a lot of guys. Nick Martinez, on the other hand, will this be his last time starting in the rotation with Clev and Snell coming back? Clev already back, building up. He was at 95 pitches in that start yesterday, so he's pretty much built up. Then you have Snell coming back. He's had 2 rehab starts. He had 1 in Lake Elsinore last night, which was his second one after pitching in high A, his first rehab start. His second start last night, went 4 innings, gave up 3 earned runs. He struck out 8, did give up a home run, walked 2. But obviously it doesn't really matter the results. It's a minor league game. What matters is his health. And it seems like everything's good on that front of things. So that is definitely a good sign, obviously. But when Snell comes back, Nick Martinez probably isn't going to be in the rotation. And I think this is an interesting point to bring up. Nick Martinez, if you've watched every start, there's been a lot of times where he's gotten out of jams, but also not gotten out of jams. And I don't even want to focus on him getting out of jams and not getting out of jams. It's the fact that he's getting into jams. And so if we're assuming that he's not going to be into the starting rotation when Snell is healthy and he comes back, and you have Gore, so that's, 7 guys for 5 spots? Darvish, Musgrove, Manaea, Gore, Clev, Snell, Martinez, 7 guys for 5 spots. You kick Martinez into the bullpen. Do you want him in the bullpen when you already have Chris Matt able to be a long man and pitch well in that role? Do you want Martinez coming in short stints, 1-2 inning stints, when he already gets into jams in the first place as a starting pitcher? And it wasn't at the Dodger game, that bases loaded jam he got out of. I think it was. He got a double play. Wasn't that early in the game, like the second inning? So if the Padres have a plan of having Martinez go 1 or 2 innings or 2 or 3 innings after a starter to give the bullpen a night off, the Yankees are doing that with Michael King, by the way, in the bullpen right now. If they're trying to do that, maybe they want someone that doesn't get into as many jams. So maybe that's just a start of the season thing for Martinez, and he's not going to get into a lot of jams tonight. And if he can continue that, that probably gives me and the Padres coaching staff, I'm not part of them, obviously, but gives them more confidence in using in using Martinez in that bullpen type role and having him be maybe fill a second Chris Matt type role. But that's my worry, is if you're putting him into the bullpen after tonight, is he well suited for the bullpen? That's what I would ask. That's what I would ask the front office and Bob Melvin and Ruben Niebla, those making those decisions. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Yeah, Tupac 13 says that. Hope you're doing well. Let's go Padres. That's right. So my thing with Martinez coming tonight isn't even really what he does tonight. It's more of about, okay, what's gonna happen with him in the future? Because Snell is going to come back. Gore's pitching well. You're 16-9 right now. You're trying to win the division. It's still early in the season. Your goal is to win the division, right? Your goal is to make the postseason. So in order to do that, wouldn't you want your best 5 starters in the rotation? And Gore right now is one of the best starters in the Padres rotation right now. So he is not someone that you send down right now. If he struggles a little bit, okay, then that's convenient. You can put Martinez back in or just take him out and you go with 5 men in the rotation when Snell comes back to limit Gore's innings, because we know that Gore is not going to start in the rotation the entire year. That's not going to happen. He definitely is going to have an innings limit. Now, will the Padres make the dumb decision like last year and have him go to the minor leagues, say that they're limiting his innings, and then continue to pitch him in the minor leagues, forgetting the fact that, minor league innings count as the same as major league innings. You're still throwing, so you're not saving innings. You're actually lessening his impact on the major league team because he's not on the major league team. So that didn't make sense. So hopefully they don't do that with Gore, but I don't expect him to be in the rotation the entire year because of the innings limit. They're going to give him some time off. So whether they want to do that before the All-Star break and after the All-Star break, or before the All-Star break only, and then he takes the All-Star break off and he gives them an extended rest, kind of like how they have some guys take an off day the day before another off day to double the off days. Have that with Gore in more of an extended stretch where you skip him a couple times in the rotation and you take the All-Star break off to give him more days off. They could do that. So that might be a long ways down the road. It's definitely going to be if he continues to pitch this well. So what I'm thinking for me with Martinez is, okay, you want him to pitch well. Don't get into a lot of jams tonight, right? Because you want to win this game, obviously. But I'm just questioning what's going to happen with him down the line in the future. As for the Marlins, they came off getting swept by the Diamondbacks after winning their Mariners and National Series. Coming into that Diamondback series, Mad Bum yesterday pitched 1 inning, and that was the whole umpire fiasco where the umpire was like staring directly into Mad Bum's eyes and fondling his hands and massaging his hands. It's not like he was even checking for anything. He was staring right into his eyes and fondling his hands. And so Mad Bum was ejected because obviously Mad Bum got pissed off at that, which I would too. I mean, you don't stare into my eyes and it's clear that you're just trying to piss me off. and you expect me to not say anything. And then the cameras, when they slow it down, it looks even worse. And it was worse to begin with. But that's pretty much what happened there. The Diamondbacks still were able to come back and beat the Marlins. But for me, I mean, watch out for John Birdie. Watch out for Jazz Chisholm. Jazz Chisholm, one of the best second basemen in baseball the first month of the season. John Birdie seems to be coming in a little hot. He hit 2 home runs yesterday. One of them, I believe, was off Mad Bum in the first inning of that game. So that's a little bit on the Marlins right now. As I mentioned earlier, they enter 12-12, 4.5 games back of the Mets in the National League East. So they're off to a good start in terms of Marlins standards, right? The Marlins are one of those teams fighting for a top 3 pick usually, right? So it's a good start from them. Obviously, Jeter's not there anymore because, according to reports, it seems like he was mad at ownership because before the lockout, he was promised a certain amount of money that he was going to be able to spend. And then it turned out that he was not going to be able to spend that after the lockout. So he said, I'm done, whatever, I'm done. See you later. So Jeter's not there, but they did go out and spend on Jorge Soler, Avisail Garcia. They still have Jazz Chisholm. Jesus Luzardo, who's starting tonight, I went over some of his numbers earlier. He has not blossomed into the guy I think a lot of like prospect gurus and guys like that thought he would. A 3.10 ERA is fine to start the year, but last year, if I remember correctly, he was not the same guy, at least that he kind of was at the start of his Oakland career. So, I mean, our odds is he strikes out 12 guys and dominates us, but I don't watch every Jesus Luzardo start, but based on the way that he was being talked about coming up with the A's, like he would have been more of a like out there pitcher, if that makes sense. Like more people would be talking about him, and that's not really the case right now. I already talked about Martinez, went 5 innings, gave up 2 earned runs in his last start against Cincinnati. He's allowed more than 2 runs, what the heck is that? 2 runs, not more than once this year. So that's the good news. He had, like I mentioned, he has been able to get out of jams. It's just let's not get into those jams because, especially with the bullpen situation, flawless transition right here. With the bullpen situation, taking one for the team here and, really going out there and providing innings will definitely help. As here's the bullpen situation, the bullpen chart that I put out before every game before I go live here. Here's a comment here, Young Buck 401, if only we had a reliable setup man. Well, we have, Luis Garcia and Steven Wilson were kind of reliable to start the season. Or Suarez and Wilson, I'll say that. But I talked about it last night on the episode 157, just the bullpen, you have to be a little bit concerned about it right now. And with the bullpen situation for tonight, there's one guy, because Avila was the 27th man. He didn't even pitch yesterday. And they obviously had to send him back down because there's only 26 guys now because it's a regular 1 game tonight type thing. But only one guy in the bullpen pitched less than 10 pitches last night. And that was Luis Garcia, who went 7 pitches. Rogers went 12. Now, look, the guys that are unavailable to me, if I were Bob Melvin today, Tim Hill, he sucked last night, over 30 pitches. Hill, Stammen, maybe Stammen's available because who knows what Martinez does. If he goes short, you might need Stammen. So I'd go Hill, Chris Matt, and probably Wilson. Those are probably the 3 guys I would say that wouldn't be available today. And then you have Wilson available for maybe back-to-back outings tomorrow and Saturday. And then for me, it would be important for me going into tonight, because everyone pitched yesterday, to really stagger those 4 main guys. So if you save Rogers for a save situation, if you have a lead, or you just don't pitch him tonight, but stagger Garcia, Wilson, Suarez, and they still keep going to Lamet. But Garcia, Wilson, and Suarez, stagger those 3. I know it's 3 guys, so probably 2 of them are going to pitch if they have a lead, but don't pitch all 3 of them, because then that means you have 3 guys that you're probably not going to be available for tomorrow's game, because that's 3 guys that would have pitched yesterday and today. That's 2 days in a row. And you usually don't want guys to be pitching 3 days in a row, especially like Luis Garcia, who wasn't healthy to start the season. Steven Wilson is first year in the majors. Robert Suarez has had some struggles as well. They have not had a history this year of pitching him that much on back-to-back games, and definitely back-to-back-to-back games. I haven't even looked at the game log, but I can bet that they have not pitched him once in back-to-back-to-back games this year. Taylor Rogers can do that, but then you're making him unavailable for Sunday, and you don't know what will happen then. The doubleheader, yeah, they had 2 days off before that yesterday, which was good, but it definitely makes it a sticky situation because literally everyone pitched yesterday. So everyone can't have a day off. Like I mentioned, Hill, Chris Matt, and Wilson are probably the 3 guys that I'd try to stay away from today. That's just me. And for the lineup, trying to pull it up here. All right, here we go. Is the Marlins lineup out? Let me see. Yes, okay. The Marlins, Jazz Chisholm, like I said, watch out for him. Already has 4 bombs, almost 20 RBI. He's hitting .329. Jorge Soler, Garrett Cooper, and Avisel Garcia. I know Avisel Garcia, wow, that's a really slow start, but watch out for him. Peyton Henry down there at the bottom of the order. It seems to me like he's like one of their Luis Campasanos, and he just has not started hitting well at the major league level. But definitely the top 5 guys in the 6 guys, because Garcia can get you. But those 6 guys, Chisholm, Aguilar, Soler, Sanchez, Cooper, and Garcia are the 6 you want to definitely pay attention to, and then it kind of fades off the bottom third of that order. But that's what you could say that about the Padres lineup as well, with 3 guys hitting .231 or less in the bottom third of the order. And then even like for the Padres lineup tonight with Profar hitting 4th, he's scuffled. I mean, what did he have? Like 1 hit? He broke his hitless streak. Kevin Acee put it out earlier today, about a hitless streak that he broke yesterday with the check swing double. So Profar is definitely struggling. So, and what I've noticed out of his at-bats, I mean, my goodness, like he's swinging out of a lot of pitches outside the strike zone. I don't know if you guys see that. Do you guys see Profar swinging at pitches outside the strike zone as well? Like, it's bad. Like, the breakdown I did when Hedges got pissed off at him yesterday, that's up on this YouTube channel. I encourage you to watch it. The pitch that, after the whole confrontation, the pitch that came up, or that pitch that Profar swung at was like 3 feet outside, that he ended up going to like the warning track on to Mercado. So he's swinging at a lot of pitches that are not in the strike zone. And so you'd hope that he's a little less aggressive. I know that when he has 2 strikes and all that, you protect, but it just seems like a lot of pitches that he swings at are just not strikes. But the Padres lineup today, Nola DHing. I think he DH'd the second game yesterday, so back-to-back games technically DHing for Nola. And then Cronenworth, Machado, Profar, Haas, the same 2 through 6 really for the last few days. Ha-Seong Kim hitting 6th. Then Alfaro, Grisham, and Thompson. It's interesting with Luzardo. I know it's a lefty, but Grisham, if I remember correctly, he has been hitting against has been hitting leadoff against lefties a little bit. Like Bob Melvin has said that he's liking Grisham recently in that leadoff hole and wants to keep him there. So to have Nola lead off today is a little interesting. But I guess he's going with the contact. Doesn't want back-to-back lefties with Grisham and Cronenworth. But again, he's already been doing that this past week with Grisham leading off. So I don't think that's the reason why. I know Grisham's struggling, but it's not like, Nola did drive in that run in the first game. He did ground into that double play in the 10th inning yesterday in the second game. So he did have an up and down day yesterday. It's not like he's like off to a Eric Hosmer start, right? Hitting 378 in that 5-hole like Haas is. But he is putting the ball in play more than Grisham is, from what I've seen, from at-bats that I remember. Again, remember, just a reminder, at Talking Friars on Twitter, I clip highlights, a lot of highlights from the game. So if you miss it, just scroll through that. When Don and Mud make a funny joke or something, I post that. A lot of highlights, scoring plays from both teams. So if you want to just stay tuned to that Talking Friars Twitter, the main like home runs, main scoring Padre plays I post on the Instagram and TikTok as well. But that's the lineup. Nola, Cronenworth, Machado, Profar, Haas, Kim, Alfaro, Grisham, and Thompson. Thompson hitting 9th. He had that 2 RBI game against Pittsburgh in his first start last Friday, which was good, but he's slowed down. He seemed a little lost at the plate yesterday in some of the at-bats. So that's not great, but he is coming from AAA. So, yeah, that's the lineup for today. What to watch for? Look out for Jazz Chisholm. I talked about that. He was one of the best second basemen in April. He leads the Marlins in WAR at 1.5. Profar in the 4th spot, hitting 173. I mentioned that. Swinging at balls outside the strike zone. Let's hope he can be a little more patient, I think, I know hitting the 4th spot, you want to drive in runs, but for me, his approach, I think, needs to improve a little bit. Padre pick for today. Yesterday, there were 2 games, so I picked Cronenworth game 1, Manny game 2. Cronenworth game 1 went 0 for 3. Manny went 0 for as well, so I was not good in that either. I think I've updated it, my record, so I think I'm 15-7 so far this season in my pregame show, Padre Pick. Again, if you're just tuning in, you're new to this pregame show, the Padre Pick is the one Padre I think, if I had to pick only one Padre, the one guy I think will get a hit. So I'm going to go Nola today, Austin Nola, hitting in that leadoff spot, DHing. He can focus on hitting. He puts the ball in play. So I'm going to go with Nola today as my Padre pick. Hopefully that works out. I think the 15-7 is updated. It's 15 plus 10 is 25 minus 3, 22. Padres have played 26 games. What are they? 25 games? Oh, so maybe it's not updated. Yeah, so that means I'm 15-9 then, I think. Yeah, 15-9 so far this season. Because there's been one game where I picked Haas. He didn't have an official at-bat, so I didn't count it because that's not fair. But I think I'm 15-9 so far. So feel free to play along, and you can log your own record of your Padre picks if that's what you want to do. Eric, Ben with the easy pick, with the picks, yep. You did not say easy picks in there, Eric. You did not say that, huh? You see I picked Nola, so you're like, oh, that's not an easy pick. Got to give credit to him. All right, let's go through some chat questions or comments here. Move Martinez to the bullpen, Anthony says. It's going to have to happen. You're not going to have 7 guys in the rotation. Matt, what's up, man? How's it going? Anthony says, I see us having a 6-man. I had a tweet about this. I think it was a week ago. Time is kind of just blurred to me right now, but I think I put a tweet out where the Padres had a stretch of a really big stretch in June in the Padres schedule where it's like 30 games in 31 days or something crazy. And so I think if they're going to have a 6-man, they're definitely going to do it then. And you can kind of limit a little bit of innings from Gore if you go with it then. I'm looking at the schedule. I think it's from June 10th to June 26th. They don't have an off day. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 18 games in 18 days in June. So that's a stretch where you could definitely see it employed. And there's one, and then they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Tack on 8 games to that, 18 game stretch. So 26 games in 27 days. Or no, 26 games, I think, in 26 days, because there's a doubleheader on June 11th against the Rockies at home on Saturday, 1:10 and 7:10. Of course, it's a split doubleheader because the Padres want to get as much money as possible on that day, which isn't convenient to fans, but what do you know? So that stretch in June and going into July, I think you have 26 games in 26 days. I think you could see that employed then, Anthony. But it's a good point. They have a lot of arms, and you want Gore to be in the rotation, still on the roster. I don't think he's best deployed as a reliever. I think he's best as a starter. But so are Darvish, Musgrove, Manaea, Snell, and Clevenger. So it'll be interesting to see how they do it. Quan says, Profar's given up what he was doing at the beginning of the season. His approach is not the same. Kind of like his confidence has gone too cocky. I don't know about that. I mean, he's always been a guy that's taken his time in the box, if that's what you're referring to. Maybe. I mean, if I was a big leaguer and I was throwing guys out at left, I was proving fans wrong, and they said that you need to go get a power-hitting left fielder, and I get off to a hot stretch where I'm my team's third best hitter, I'd probably be a little pumped up, But so I guess, Quan, to answer that, yeah, that could be happening. But if you're at the plate, like if I was at the plate, I'm worried about getting on base and getting a hit. Like I'm not worried about, I'm going to change my approach and swing at pitches 3 feet off the plate because I'm playing well, Like that's still not a good pitch to swing at. Quan again says he likes the infield with Kim and Abrams in the middle and Cronenworth at first with Haas at DH. I just don't like both of our catchers in the lineup. Well, you're going to see both catchers in the lineup until Voit comes back, probably, because Abrams just is not holding his weight offensively, and they'd rather have a catcher hit instead of Abrams. That's my thoughts. Kim's playing well at short. Abrams has struggled a little bit defensively with the errors at short and at second. So I think that's what their viewpoint is. Like Abrams is a bench guy right now. And if he plays, he's going to be playing second base probably with Kim at short, or it's a Kim getting a day off. And so he plays short. And then when that happens, Abrams is hitting at the bottom of the order. It's not like he's hitting sixth where Kim is hitting. John says Martinez to the pen, keep a 5-man. If you're going to keep a 5-man, then where are you putting Gore? Are you putting him down in the minor leagues? Because if you're putting a 5-man when Snell comes back, it's going to be Snell, Clevenger, Darvish, Musgrove, and Manaea. That's 5 guys. So where's Gore? Where are you putting Gore? You're going to put him back in the minor leagues when he's pitching this well? I wouldn't do that. You're trying to win. You're trying to contend for the division right now. It's May 5th. You're still trying to win the division. You're still trying to make the postseason, obviously. So the way that the Padres are right now, you need to have the best pitchers in the rotation, and that's what Gore is right now. He would fit into that category right now. Doe says Profar's hot. That Cleveland catcher was trying to poo-poo his great attitude. That Cleveland catcher's name is Austin Hedges, by the way. He was wearing thigh pads. Did you see that? I've never seen that before. A catcher wearing thigh pads. And then it kind of made me laugh. Maybe I shouldn't have laughed at it, but I posted the video on the Talking Friars Twitter a foul ball hit Hedges, the one spot where he did not have any padding, like right near the groin, like the thigh, right between the thigh and the groin. It hit him right there where there was no padding. So that was weird. I've never seen Hedges have thigh pads, but yeah, I still don't know really what to make about that Profar Hedges thing. Kind of move on. I put that lip reading in the breakdown. Hedges was mad at something that Profar said. The camera angles weren't helping me out there, so I couldn't tell what Profar said. The only camera angles that I saw was the side of Profar's face a little bit, but then his helmet was blocking it as well. And another camera was showing Profar's back, so that didn't do anything for me. And then the home plate umpire and Hedges were wearing masks for most of the time that they were talking to Profar. So I tried lip reading as much as I could. But that breakdown is available on the YouTube page, on this YouTube channel. All right, before we get out of here, some MLB news and notes. Shohei Ohtani. Today, the Angels shut out the Red Sox 8-0. Ohtani hit one off the green monster. He ended up pitching 7 shutout innings, striking out 11. The Red Sox stink, man. 10-16, fourth in the AL East. The Angels are 17-10, first in the AL West. I guess it helps to have the 2 best players in baseball, really. With Ohtani playing both sides of the field, they're both hitting and pitching, and then you have the best player I've ever seen play in Mike Trout in your lineup. That certainly doesn't hurt you, even though Trout didn't play today. So they won 8-0 without Trout. I mean, they have Taylor Ward hitting .368 with a 1,197 OPS. My goodness. You have David Fletcher, who's a hit machine. I know it's been a slow start for him, but the Angels look good right now. Now, will the pitching hold up? That's the question. But 7 shutout innings from Shohei Ohtani today. Mets are playing the Phillies. They just played them last weekend. This time it's in Philly. Going around the division, the Colorado Rockies beat the Nats 9-7 today. San Francisco hosts the Cardinals, and the Dodgers are off. So that's what's happening in the National League West. Yeah, I think that's the main MLB news for right now. Doe says maybe Profar made fun of Hedges' thigh pads. Maybe. They did look kind of ridiculous, to be honest. Like, I didn't notice them at first, and then when someone pointed it out, I was like, oh, wow. What made him think to do that? I don't think he always did that. I didn't see him do that with the Padres. Maybe I wasn't paying close attention to Hedges' thighs. Maybe I should pay more attention to catcher's thighs. I don't know. All right, that'll do it. This has been the Talking Friars Padres Marlins pregame show for May 5th, 2022. I'm Ben Fadden, your host. I'll be back tomorrow for the pregame show for the second of 4 against Miami, the second of 7 in this homestand. Post-game reaction videos as always. Maybe some breakdowns if something happens. But see you, everyone. Enjoy the game. Have a good